And I'd just like to thank, indeed, the chairman and members of the committee for their great work on it. At the end of the day, it represents expanded choice in education, and that whole notion of increasing and expanding the marketplace in education, I think is vital for a couple of different reasons. I think it's vital, one, because it's better for students. I think it's vital because ultimately local control of education matters, and I think it's ultimately vital from the standpoint of improving and increasing the level of innovation that we see in the educational marketplace. Let me expand on those couple of thoughts just over a couple of minutes. One is it's vital for students because God makes every child different. And when I was working in the politics in South Carolina, we passed a rather major charter school bill. We now have over 60 charter schools in South Carolina, right at 60 charter schools in South Carolina. And what it did was it tailor-made for students applications that fit who they were. So in some cases they wanted to work on leadership, they could do so. In some cases they wanted to work on mathematics or on English or on technology or the arts, and they had venues by which to specialize in that which God wired them to do. And so one, this idea of increased choices for the students that are out there, I think is vital. Two, I think it's absolutely vital to the larger notion of local control. You know, people invest in things that they have a say in, that they have a voice in. And what we saw in choice in South Carolina and expanded choices on the charter school front was that parents indeed got more deeply involved. And I've not just seen that in South Carolina, I've seen it in different spots across the country, whether that's KIPP Academy or whether that's the old Marva Collins School up toward Milwaukee. You know, it was interesting to see the way in which parents would invest in their child's education when they had a little bit more control and a little bit more voice. That's true, again, at Bridges Academy in Beaufort, South Carolina, or KIPP Academy out towards Houston. And finally, I'd make this point. It's absolutely vital to innovation in education, because the old saying is, you know, the definition of insanity is keep on doing the same thing and expect a different result. This idea of changing the educational paradigm so that there are more choices for kids and parents out there is absolutely critical to competitiveness in this country. If you look at the numbers, I pulled some of them. We are behind Liechtenstein, Vietnam, and Iceland with regard to mathematics in global scores. We are behind Poland and Luxembourg and Estonia with regard to reading scores in global scores. We are behind Canada, we're behind the United Kingdom, we're behind Slovenia, we're behind France, we're behind a whole host of different places in scores on the science front. And so if we're going to change that, if we're going to be competitive in this global competition for jobs, capital, and way of life, it's vital that we have bills like this move forward, and for that reason I applaud the work of the committee. With that, I'd yield back.
The gentleman yields.